Trading with the trend is probably the most efficient method to profit in any market. But sometimes just following the trend alone isn't enough. The most efficient trends in the market are the ones supported by volume. But sometimes even the most popular trend filter indicators like the moving average only incorporate the price of an asset and do not factor in the volume when determining the trend. But what if there was an indicator that not only considered the price of an asset but also used volume to determine the trend? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about such an indicator. We're going to explore what this indicator is, the best settings to use, and how to use it to identify trends in the market. We'll also combine this indicator with other technical analysis tools to create a super profitable trading strategy. If you find value in this video, remember to leave a like. Let's get into it. Now, the indicator that we're talking about is called VSLRT. Now, you may be thinking,
and what does that even mean?
Well, VSLRT stands for Volume Supported Linear Regression Trend. To add this indicator to your chart, you're gonna go to Tradingview. Then load any trading security that you like. For me, I'm gonna be using the 15-minute time frame of GBPJPY. Then click on Indicators, type in Volume Supported Linear Regression, and it's gonna be this one by Lonesome the Blue. The volume-supported linear regression trend is a technical indicator. It combines the principles of linear regression with trading volume to better analyze and predict market trends. This basically means that this indicator checks the linear regression of the price and volume and then calculates the trend strength and direction based on that data. Next, we're going to explore how we can use this indicator to trade. But before that, let's explore this indicator's components. Now, as we can see, this indicator is composed of two elements, this green and red histogram and this oscillator traversing the indicator window. The histogram indicates short-term trends in the market, while the oscillator tracks long-term trends in the market. When the histogram bar is colored green, that indicates a short-term bullish trend. When it's colored bright green like here, that indicates that the strength of that bullish trend is increasing. This only happens when the trend is backed by a huge volume, specifically when the buy volume is greater than the sell volume. Now, as you can see, we have two more shades of green within this bullish histogram. This medium dark shade of green indicates that the trend strength is decreasing. This happens when the volume supports the trend, but the sell volume is higher than the buy volume. For this darker shade of green, it indicates that the trend strength is decreasing, and this occurs when the volume does not support the trend. Whenever you see this dark shade of green, that is a possible indication of a trend reversal. On the other hand, when the histogram bar is colored red, that indicates a short-term bearish trend. When it's colored bright red like here, that indicates that the strength of the bearish trend is increasing. This only happens when the trend is backed by a huge volume, specifically when the sell volume is greater than the buy volume. Now, as you can see, we have two more shades of red within this bearish histogram. This medium dark shade of red indicates that the trend strength is decreasing. This happens when the volume supports the trend, but the buy volume happens to be greater than the sell volume. For this darker shade of red, it indicates that the trend strength is decreasing, and this occurs when the volume does not support the trend. Now, this oscillator is used to identify long-term trends in the market, and it functions just the same as the histogram. When the oscillator is colored blue, that indicates a long-term bullish trend. When it's colored bright blue like here, that indicates that the strength of the bullish trend is increasing. This medium dark shade of blue indicates that the trend strength is decreasing. For this darker shade of blue, it indicates that the strength of the bullish trend is decreasing, and it happens when the volume does not support the trend. Conversely, when the oscillator is colored brown, that indicates a long-term bearish trend. When it's colored bright brown like here, that indicates that the strength of the bearish trend is increasing. This only happens when the trend is backed by a substantial amount of volume, specifically when the sell volume is greater than the buy volume. This medium dark shade of brown indicates that the trend strength is decreasing. This occurs when the volume supports the trend, but the sell volume is lower than the buy volume. For this darker shade of brown, it signifies that the trend strength is decreasing, and it happens when the volume does not support the trend. Now, looking at the settings of this indicator, we can see very few customizable options. For this video, we're gonna change the line colors. We're gonna change this first shade of blue to a lighter shade of green. Then for these last two shades, we're gonna change them to this dark green. And then we're gonna do the same right here. We're gonna change the light brown color to this light red color. And then for these last two shades, we're gonna change them to this dark red. After that, click OK. Now, how can we use this indicator to trade? Well, I'm gonna show you. But before that, let's talk about hankotrade. Now, you may be thinking, and what exactly is hankotrade? Well, hankotrade is one of the most reliable Forex brokers out there, and for that reason, I use them every single day. As you can see here, this is my trading history. I mainly trade gold, and up here you can see that this is actually a live account. The reason why I love hankotrade so much is because of their extremely low commissions and spreads. On Forex, for example, the spreads can go as low as 0.0 pips, which is actually the lowest they can go. For those of you who love high leverage, hankotrade offers a maximum leverage of 1 to 500. If all of that isn't enough, they're also going to give you a 100% bonus for all your deposits up to $25,000. So if you deposit, say, $500, they're going to give you a bonus of $500. So now you'll have a total of $1,000 to trade with. To access the bonus, as well as all the other perks, sign up to hankotrade using the link in the video description. Now, back to the video. Now, there are several ways that we can use this indicator to trade. The first method would be to use it to identify market divergences. A divergence occurs when an oscillator is doing the opposite of what the price action is doing. For example, here, this is a bullish divergence because, as you can see, the indicator histogram was creating higher lows while the price was creating lower lows. And then here, we have a bearish divergence. The indicator histogram was creating lower highs, while the price was creating higher highs. The second way of using this indicator to trade is to combine the fundamentals of short-term trends and long-term trends to identify pullbacks and to trade based on them. To do that, you first of all want to identify a long-term bullish trend using this indicator. The way you do that is as we discussed before. This oscillator is used to identify long-term trends in the market. You want to have it be colored green like it is right here, and then you want the histogram to change color from green to red to indicate that the market is in a pullback. After the pullback, you want it to change color back to green to indicate the end of the pullback. At the end of the pullback, this oscillator should be colored bright green like it is right here. After all these conditions are met, you enter a long position. And of course, it's going to be the opposite for a short trade. So as you can see, the oscillator was colored red, indicating a long-term bearish trend. Then the histogram changed color from red to green to indicate a market pullback, and then from green to red to confirm the end of that pullback. And then at the end of the pullback, the oscillator was also colored bright red. Now, in order to finalize our setup for this strategy, we need to add two more indicators to the chart. On the indicator search tab, type in EMA and select this one right here. Then type in volume. Select this one by Tradingview that's under the technicals tab. Double-click on the EMA, then on the inputs tab, change its length to 150. Then on the style tab, change the EMA color to white. After that, click OK. Then for the volume indicator, you're gonna go to the style tab. Then here, activate the volume EMA, then change its color to white. After that, click OK. This EMA is gonna be used as an extra confirmation for market trends alongside this oscillator. When the oscillator is colored green and the price happens to be trading above the EMA, that would indicate a long-term bullish trend. Conversely, when the oscillator is colored red and the price happens to be trading below the EMA, that would indicate a long-term bearish trend. This histogram of the VSLRT indicator is going to be used for short-term trend confirmations. And then the volume indicator is going to be used to confirm that there is enough volume in the market for us to enter long and short positions. Now, at this point in time, I know you may be thinking,
But how can we use these three indicators combined to take long and short trades?
Well, let me show you. To take a long trade, first, the price must be trading above the 200 period EMA. Second, this oscillator of the volume-supported linear regression should be colored green. These first two conditions indicate that the market is in a long-term bullish trend. After we have the bullish trend, we need a pullback to occur. To confirm that, we need this histogram to turn from green to red to indicate the start of the pullback. After we have the pullback, we need a green histogram bar to be printed to indicate the end of the pullback. Now, at the end of the pullback, this oscillator should be colored bright green, like it is right here, to indicate that the strength of the bullish trend is increasing. Last but not least, we want to confirm that there is enough bullish volume in the market to push the price all the way to take profit. For that, we want this last histogram bar of the volume indicator to be colored green, and it should also be above this white moving average. All our entry conditions are met on this candle, so we're going to enter a long trade on the open of the next candle. We're going to set our stop loss below the most recent swing low. For the take profit, we're going to set it at 2 times the risk. We let this trade run and take profit. Now, to enter a short trade, it's going to be the opposite. So first, the price must be trading below the 200 period EMA. Second, this oscillator of the volume-supported linear regression trend should be colored red. These first two conditions indicate that the market is in a long-term bearish trend. After we have the bearish trend, we need a pullback to occur. To confirm that, we need this histogram to turn from red to green to indicate the start of the pullback. After we have the pullback, we need a red histogram bar to be printed to indicate the end of the pullback. Now, at the end of the pullback, this oscillator should be colored bright red, like it is right here, to indicate that the strength of the bearish trend is increasing. Last but not least, we want to confirm that there is enough bearish volume in the market to push the price all the way to take profit. For that, we want this last histogram bar of the volume indicator to be colored red, and it should also be above this white moving average. All our entry conditions are met on this candle, so we're going to enter a short trade right here. We're going to set our stop loss above the most recent swing high. For the take profit, we're going to set it at 2 times the risk. We'll let this trade run and take profit. In summary, the volume-supported linear regression trend is a versatile tool that can help traders understand past price movements, make predictions about future prices, manage risks, and analyze the market more broadly. If you're interested in this strategy, remember to do extensive backtesting and forward testing and combine it with price action to make it even better. That's been it for this video. I hope you found some value. If you did, hit the like button below and consider subscribing to stay tuned. Thanks for watching. See you next time.